Okay, so picture this. You're at the doctor's office, right? But it's not just you and your doctor. There's an AI listening in, analyzing every cough, every sniffle, every word you say.
Yeah, a bit unnerving, right?
Totally. But could that AI be the key to a faster, more accurate diagnosis? That's what researchers wanted to find out in this really interesting study.
It's a fascinating question. And you know what? We're finally at the point where we can actually put this to the test. We can actually pitch human medical expertise against AI and see what happens.
A real medical showdown. And for this match, they brought in the big guns, the AI world GPT-4, the tech behind ChatGPT.
Yeah, everyone knows ChatGPT by now. But this study wasn't just about whether GPT-4 could, spit out the right diagnosis. It was about the whole process. How do doctors think? What steps do they take to solve a medical mystery? Can AI replicate that?
So it's more nuanced than just, here are the symptoms, what's the diagnosis?
Absolutely. They wanted to see if AI could grasp that deeper level of medical reasoning. And to do that, they assembled a pretty impressive group, 50 experienced physicians, both attending physicians and residents.
So a good mix of experience levels.
Exactly. And they were all specialists in either internal medicine, family medicine, or emergency medicine, the front lines of diagnosis.
Those are the doctors you want on your side when you're dealing with a mystery illness. Okay, so we've got our doctors. What kind of cases did they use to test them in GPT-4?
They weren't messing around. They gave them really complex diagnostic cases. And get this, these were adapted from real patients. We're talking about real-life medical mysteries with all of the twists and turns you'd expect.
No sugarcoating for the sake of the study.
Nope. These doctors were given the patient's history, their physical exam results, lab results, the whole 9 yards.
So how did they decide to use GPT-4? Did they just let it loose on these cases?
Not quite. They split the doctors into 2 groups. One group got all the tools doctors usually use, medical databases, like UpToDate, they could use Google, whatever they normally do. But the second group,
They got something extra.
they got all of that, plus access to GPT-4.
Okay, so it's like giving one group a superpower and seeing if it gives them an edge. But I'm curious about the doctors who were given GPT-4. Did they just jump right in, or was there any hesitation about using AI in this way?
That's a great question. And yeah, you're right. Using AI in medicine is still a pretty new concept. It turned out that some doctors were already pretty comfortable using AI tools like ChatGPT.
So they were already ahead of the curve.
Exactly. But others, not so much. They were complete newbies when it came to AI. And you can imagine how comfortable they felt using it definitely played a role in how well they did.
Yeah, like any new tool, there's going to be a learning curve. Okay, so before we get to the results of this epic doctor versus AI showdown, let's talk scoring. You mentioned it wasn't as simple as just did they get the diagnosis right or wrong?
Right. They used something called structured reflection. Basically, the doctors had to show their work. They couldn't just say, I think it's this. They had to explain why, what evidence they were basing that on, what might contradict their diagnosis, that kind of thing.
So really digging into their thought process, no shortcuts allowed. All right, so the stage is set, the timer is ticking. What happened when they unleashed GPT-4 on these medical mysteries?
Well, first, remember how we talked about how GPT-4 got its own solo round in this diagnostic decathlon?
Yeah, like it was competing on its own.
Well, hold on to your hats because the results were pretty mind-blowing. GPT-4, all on its own, achieved a median diagnostic reasoning score. Remember, that's not just the right answer, but the whole thought process of 92.1%.
92.1%. That's incredible. Like straight A student, valedictorian level.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And to really drive the point home, that score was significantly higher than both groups of physicians.
Wow. So even with all their training and experience, the AI still came out on top.
It did. Just to give you a comparison, the doctors who had access to GPT-4 scored a median of 76.3% on the diagnostic reasoning scale.
Okay, that's still a really good score.
Oh, absolutely. It's important to keep in mind that these are all skilled physicians. But even with GPT-4 as a resource, they couldn't quite match the AI's performance.
So the AI is blowing experienced doctors out of the water. What makes GPT-4 so good at this? Is it some kind of medical savant?
Well, it's not magic, but it's pretty close. See, GPT-4 has been trained on this massive amount of data, right? Text, code, you name it. And a good chunk of that probably includes medical information.
So it's like it's read every medical textbook, every journal article ever published.
In a way, yeah. It can see patterns in the patient data, connect the dots in a way that even a seasoned doctor might miss just because it's got so much information at its fingertips.
It's like having a super-powered medical brain in the room. But what about the doctors who did have access to GPT-4? They still did pretty well, right?
They did. Like we said, they scored an average of 76.3% on that diagnostic reasoning scale. It's nothing to sneeze at.
No, that's still really impressive.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's not quite as mind-blowing as the AI going solo. So what gives? Why wasn't the difference bigger?
Well, here's the thing. Just having access to a tool doesn't mean you know how to use it to its full potential, right?
Oh, tell me about it. I once tried to assemble a bookshelf. Let's just say it didn't go well.
Right. And some researchers think this might be what happened with some of the doctors. Maybe they weren't sure how to phrase their questions to GPT-4 to get the most helpful answers. Or maybe they were still a little hesitant, double checking the AI suggestions instead of really trusting its judgment.
It's like having a GPS, but still refusing to trust it and making all the wrong turns.
Exactly. It highlights just how important it is not just to have powerful AI tools, but also to know how to use them effectively.
So maybe med schools need to start handing out GPT-4 subscriptions along with those textbooks.
It's an interesting thought. Maybe not subscriptions, but definitely some serious training on how to integrate these tools into their workflow. Think about it in the future. Working alongside AI might be a regular part of a doctor's job.
It's like a whole new skill set they'll need to master.
Precisely. And the study actually backs this up. Remember how we talked about some doctors being more comfortable with AI than others? Well, it turns out that the doctors who are already using ChatGPT in their personal lives, even just casually, they actually performed better when they had access to it during the study.
So experience counts, even if it's just in your free time.
It does. Which begs the question, what does it mean for the future of doctors if AI is already this good at diagnosis? Are we all going to be lining up to see doctor algorithms someday?
That's a bit unsettling, to be honest.
I get it. It's a question a lot of people have. But it's important to remember that this study, while super interesting, is just a snapshot. We're still in the early stages of figuring out how AI will fit into the world of healthcare.
So don't cancel your next doctor's appointment just yet.
Definitely not. It's not about replacing human doctors. It's about figuring out how to combine their expertise with the strengths of AI to create something even more powerful than either one alone.
A true medical power couple. AI and doctors working together to solve those medical mysteries.
Exactly. Imagine a world where AI helps doctors make faster, more accurate diagnoses, especially in those time-sensitive situations. Think about emergency rooms, for example.
Where every second counts.
Exactly. AI could be a game changer.
And it frees up doctors to focus on the human side of things. Talking to patients, providing emotional support, all the things AI can't do.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about data and algorithms, right? It's about people's lives. It's about providing the best possible care for every single patient.
Absolutely. It sounds like we're on the brink of a major shift in how we approach healthcare. But with any big change, we have to be cautious, right?
100%. We have to think about the ethical side of things. We can't just embrace new technology without considering the potential consequences.
So it's not just about AI versus doctors. It's about finding that balance, figuring out how AI can empower doctors to be even better at what they do.
Now you're getting it. It's a whole new world of possibilities.
A world I'm definitely ready to explore further. So we've talked about AI, maybe giving doctors a hand with diagnoses, but what else can it do? What other medical miracles could be just around the corner?
Oh, there are so many possibilities. It's honestly hard to even grasp them all. Let's say you need surgery. Imagine, AI assisting the surgeon, right? And I don't just mean those robot arms you hear about, but, actually analyzing your anatomy, in real time, guiding the surgery with, superhuman precision.
Like something out of a sci-fi movie, those holographic projections they used to operate.
Right. It could be incredible, especially for those really intricate surgeries where even the tiniest little movement could make all the difference.
I can see it now, AI surgeons making those impossible surgeries a reality. What else? What else?
Okay, think about cancer treatments. Right now, we're just starting to scratch the surface of personalized medicine, but AI could take it to a whole other level.
So instead of just, here's the standard treatment protocol, it's more like, here's the treatment that's been specifically designed for your body, your genetics, your lifestyle, everything.
Exactly. And it could analyze these huge data sets of genetic information, your medical history, your environment, everything, to figure out what would work best for you.
It's like having a team of 1,000 doctors all working together on your case.
That's a great way to put it. And here's another thing, and this one's really out there. Imagine using AI to actually predict outbreaks before they happen.
Whoa, like a pandemic early warning system.
Exactly. By looking at all sorts of data disease patterns, weather, even like social media trends, it could pick up on those early signals that something's brewing, something we might miss otherwise.
That would be game-changing. Instead of just reacting to outbreaks, we could actually get ahead of them. It seems
Yeah.
like there's no limit to what AI could do for healthcare.
It's pretty incredible, right? But we also have to remember, and this is important, all this amazing tech, it needs to benefit everyone, not just a select few. We have to make sure AI is used ethically, that it doesn't just worsen existing healthcare disparities.
It's like that saying, with great power comes great responsibility. We can't just focus on what AI can do. We have to think about how to use it for good, for everyone.
Absolutely. And that's a conversation we need to have now before these technologies become even more advanced.
It's about shaping the future of healthcare, making sure it's a future where everyone has a chance to thrive. Well, that was pretty thought-provoking. We started this deep dive wondering if AI could outsmart human doctors. But it seems like the bigger question is, how can we use AI to create a healthier future for everyone?
I think that's the million-dollar question. It's not about replacing doctors, it's about figuring out how to best combine their knowledge and experience with the power of AI.
It's about creating a partnership that benefits everyone. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the world of AI and medicine. It's been quite a journey.
It really has. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure was all ours. And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a topic that's shaping our world. Until then, keep those brains buzzing and stay curious.